Hey guys, welcome back to Dizzle in Motion. Got a new kind of emissions automotive update here. It dropped recently. We're talking about the CARS Act. Now, there's a little bit of confusion here because the CARS Act had already previously been introduced under the Biden administration, as well as there's an entirely another act called the CARS Act, which is like a consumer auto retail something. It basically has something to do with financing, right? So not getting screwed over on when you're buying stuff from dealers. So there is a CARS Act in effect that has to do with cars because, you know, it's a clever acronym, I guess, for politicians to use. But yeah, it can also lead to obviously a lot of confusion going on. So this CARS Act had already been proposed before under Biden, wasn't super successful, but obviously with all the momentum right now going on with the EPA restrictions being loosened, talking about taking California to court, fighting against CARB, fighting against diesel emissions regulations, everything, the environment is just right for this. And when we're looking at the situation overall, it seems like a lot of politicians all want to get in on it. So you have multiple acts that kind of do the same thing, but in a different way by different senators and Congress people all over the place. So it's interesting. I mean, at the end of the day, the politician's going to politician, right? But let me go ahead and read you an article here and get into the nuts and bolts. It's not too long. We'll get to the point, and then we'll tie it up at the end like we always do. All right, so this is being, again, submitted. U.S. Senators Katie Britt, Mike Crapo, and 19 Republican colleagues. I'm sure every single one of these 21 Republicans have issued their own version of the press release, but we're doing a summarized version we got from a couple articles here. Here we go. They have reintroduced the Choice in Automobile Retail Sales Act, the CARS Act, a bill aimed at repealing the Environmental Protection Agency's tailpipe emissions rule finalized under the Biden-Harris administration. The legislation seeks to maintain consumer choice in vehicle purchases by preventing regulations that would limit the availability of gas-powered vehicles. The EPA rule, titled Multi-Pollutant Emission Standards for Model Year 2027 and later light-duty and medium-duty vehicles, sets stringent emission standards intended to reduce greenhouse gas emissions. The regulation effectively mandates a significant shift toward electrical vehicle production, allowing internal combustion engine, or ICE vehicles, to constitute no more than 30% of new sales by 2032. So this is obviously and clearly aimed square into the crosshairs of California's CARB rules, which they've kind of set for everybody, where they say no gas cars by 2035. Other states have adopted versions of that rule, and with everything going on with the tailpipe rule, so to speak, under Biden-Harris, by 2032, shit would have got real around here. That's what it comes down to. So this is aiming to say, hey, look, we need freedom of choice when it comes to our vehicles. We're not going to mandate how many gas versus how many EV, et cetera, vehicles there are being produced. Supporters of the CARS Act argue that the EPA's rule imposes undue restrictions on consumers and could lead to higher vehicle costs. Senator Britt emphasized the importance of consumer choice, stating, "I am proud to stand with my colleagues in ensuring consumers are able to choose the car that makes the most sense for their own individual circumstances, needs, and preferences." Critics of the EPA rule also contend that the transition to EVs could have economic implications, particularly for auto workers and industries reliant on ICE vehicles. Senator Crapo voiced concerns over the regulation's impact on affordability, saying, quote, "Americans deserve to have access to affordable, reliable vehicles fueled by American-made energy products. However, the EPA's tailpipe rule will hurt everyday Americans while simultaneously helping China." Advocates of the EPA's emission standards argue that reducing vehicle emissions is crucial for combating climate change and improving air quality. They maintain that the rule aligns with global efforts to transition toward cleaner transportation options and reduce dependence on fossil fuels. Yeah, it's that balance again. Hey guys, we can't do this. The environment. Yeah. Well, not going to be a real great environment to live in if everybody's broke and you can't drive anywhere and you can't get around and you can't afford to eat because you're paying 10 times as much for your car and your fuel. So you got to balance things. And like we said, there's definitely a level of diminishing returns that you get by going the green route. No one cares. No one's fighting clean air and clean water. We all want it. But at what cost? That's where that's all it is. That's where the balance comes in. Who draws the line? You know, there's a lot of other controversial topics out there. I won't say them because they'll push my video down, but you can think about them. Political topics out there where it's about where do we draw the line with this. No one really disagrees conceptually with what we would prefer in a perfect world, but guess what, folks? We don't live in a perfect world. The CARS Act aims not only to overturn the existing EPA rule, but also to prevent future regulations that would mandate or favor specific vehicle engine types. This legislative effort follows similar initiatives led by Senator Britt and other lawmakers, including a previous attempt to block proposed CAFE standards for passenger cars and light-duty trucks. As the debate continues, the bill's progress through Congress will be closely watched, with lawmakers on both sides weighing the balance between environmental policy and consumer choice in the automotive market. Yeah, so in summary, this is definitely a political thing. Politicians all want a piece of the pie. They want to put their face on their take. But the momentum, talk about this in several videos now, this is directly related emissions video, meaning that they want to be on the record. This is what they're doing. The momentum's there. So there's a good chance like 90% of the stuff is going to pass. All right. And when it does, it's going to have a ripple effect. Now, part of that ripple effect you guys need to be aware of is the people on the left, the environmentalists, whatnot, they're going to push back. So their goal, it's almost like petulant children. The right does this too. It just happens to be the left in this one. But here's what it comes down to. They want their way and they're going to kick and scream. So even if something could possibly be a good idea, they're not going to give it a fair shake. As soon as changes are made, restrictions are loosened, deregulation, anything that they're fighting to keep that passes, they're going to sabotage it. They're going to do everything in their power to slow it down, obstruct, cause any problems they can, because then if they can delay, ruin, cause problems with that kind of stuff, then they get to say, see, it's not working, or it's not working on your timetable. Well, yeah, because when you have an active group of people that are pushing back against something, it's like the will of the people put these people in charge. The people that are in charge pass these things for the good of the people, you hope, right? At least that's the concept here. And if they're doing so, why are you pushing back? You can debate, we need debate, right? That's fine. But if you lose the debate and you lose the vote, at what point do you just accept, hey, well, this is what we're doing now, so we're going to accept it and push forward, and good luck to all of us. And if it sucks or we need to tweak it, let's do that. But instead, you just have this constant combat that's going on. Anyways, that's it today. Another step toward deregulation, another step toward California not being the end-all, be-all with their emission standards and whatnot. What do you guys think in the comments? Do you agree with me? Do you think I'm off course? Do you think this is the beginning of the end? Are you happy? Or are you just the guy that says, I'll believe it when I see it in the comments? Anyways, thanks for watching today. I appreciate your time. Catch you on the next video.